thing. Of course, the map will matter, the operator bans will matter, there's a lot of factors. Their psychology will matter. See the map itself first. There we go, the auto bans. Again, some of the least favored maps. Consulate going. Are we going to leave it down to the end to decide whether it's Clubhouse or not? I have a feeling that is going to be the case again.
So
Clubhouse or Bank?
We'll find out. Looks like it's going to be Bank.
All right.
So no repeat just yet.
Yeah, both of them have played this a couple times, and one of them was against each other. So this is a rematch map. We see quite a bit of those, actually, surprisingly.
Latin America, actually, I think was... Latin America was set up in a specific way so that it was like a reflect, a mirror for the first half and the second half, and who plays what, who plays who when. Yeah. Because of that, we see a lot of the same maps be available when they come up against each other, because they're trying to angle this. Usually, I mean, we even see people trying to angle for those rematches because they think they've practiced more on this map than the other team.
I can even understand this favoring. The reason I say that is because last time they fought on this map, while Team 1 won, it was 7-5. So it was actually pretty close. And MIBR playing much better now, because they weren't playing very good when that happened the first time. Playing much better now. It's possible they can edge ahead on this.
Definitely possible.
Because Team 1, while they were good in that match, the next time they played it, they got 7-1 by BD. So maybe not the best map for Team 1.
I guess we'll find out when we actually get into the match. For now, we wait for the final player to connect. And, well, Bank, interesting map for sure for every team who comes here. We've got a lot of different results. Since it is Latin America, we have seen it played a decent chunk so far by, like I said, pretty much everyone through this season. For Team 1 on Bank, they've got a solid win percentage there at 50, having played it twice. They've won it once, lost it once. Yeah. So that's decent. You know, it's respectable. Though, considering there's only 4 losses on the side of Team 1, that's not the best results. Yeah. Accounting for a quarter of their total defeats. Overall, though, not terrible. On the side of MIBR, they haven't won it once, going to it 3 times. What were you going to say?
But if you're using BD as the benchmark, then MIBR drew with them on it, whereas it was, you know, the 7-1 against Team 1 on it. So if you were using them as the measurement, for whatever reason...
BD are really good at winning Bank. They've got a 75% win rate there.
So I'm saying if you're using that as the benchmark, MIBR, this is a much better map for them. Well, yeah, the 50% thing, you got to keep in mind one of those matches of the 50% was against MIBR, back when they were doing much worse.
Well, yeah. Now, well, I mean, I would honestly, no matter how I'm looking at this, I would still give the edge to Team 1. Considering recent history, as well as just overall season performance, Team 1 have been doing really well. I mean, even, you know, just yoink the map relevance out of there for a second. Yeah. And it should be
for sure. Yeah.
Team 1 taking this, but
my point is, if they're going to take them to a map in high stakes against a team that has historically been better than them, this is a good map to do it on for MIBR.
Absolutely. Also, but Team 1 did draw against BD in the last playdate. They barely managed to beat Elevate 7-5. It looked like we were going to see another win for Elevate. If you look far enough back, Team 1 did beat Ninjas in Pajamas, which is very impressive. Sure. The point I'm trying to get at here is that there is an opening here for MIBR. There's a chance they could win. Team 1 are not indestructible, so it's not... You can't count out MIBR just yet. Yeah. And MIBR has a similar kind of history in, you know, more recent matches as well. They managed to draw against FaZe 2 playdays ago, which was pretty impressive. They did beat Elevate, but I think everybody's beaten Elevate now. Yeah. Yeah, everybody's beaten Elevate because Elevate has 1 win. So you play every team twice. Yeah. So it's rough going for them. They can't use them as much of a benchmark. Yeah, no, it's hard to. It's hard to, that's for sure. I mean, usually the benchmarking we use there is like, okay, so they managed to get... Elevate managed to get 5 rounds on you. Well, that's, you know, not great. You shouldn't be allowing them to get 5 rounds. Anyway, moving into this match, it really does look like there is a slight edge for Team 1 in general, but MIBR, like you said, have been getting better.
Picked a good map.
We'll see what's actually going to happen here. They picked a good map. We'll load into that map. Again, going to be Bank. Team 1 will be starting on attack. MIBR starting on defense. I'm
interested to see what the hard breach bans specifically might be, because we don't always get Hibana. Sometimes we get Thermite. You could also ban a Maverick if you want to really make the hatches more of a pain versus Electroclaws, things like that. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, most of the time it's just Hibana, unfortunately, but it can vary a bit. So I'm always interested to see whether or not that is a factor. So these op bans Again, the attack side always being a little bit more the interesting side at the moment. But you have even seen occasionally Mira being allowed and Thatcher being taken off, as is unfortunately now typical for Latin America. I don't know. There's a lot of bands that were like excited, like, oh, that's a good band, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, for some reason the Thatcher band just kind of, we're never really in favor of it in Latin America here. And we'll see what the second one's going to be to follow that up. There's Thermite. All right. So walls should be more interesting. Now it's going to be down to Hibana and Maverick to help get those down. That makes CEO, I think, a bit more interesting.
Well, it's going to make not only CEO, but honestly every site kind of more interesting. You can Kaid Electro Trick now, unless MIBR decide to ban Kaid. The drop-downs will be thus opened likely by the Maverick throughout this match.
Yep, there's so Mira will be available as well. So this will be very interesting. So for one thing, Mira will be strong down in CCTV, but also there won't be a Thermite to blow the wall to go for the normal plant. You can still do it with Hibana, but it can be a little trickier. Also, we've seen teams open up little holes and things like that with the Maverick, which will still be available on the side. So it's just going to have to be played a little bit differently than the standard take, especially when you have to deal with the Mira. Capito in play, though.
We see once again the Echo Maestro duo ban. Blackbeard's being brought by Skadinia. I wonder if he's going to stick that or 6-pick it. No, there's the 6-pick. Okay.
Cyber also sneaking a 6-pick in there, probably to hold blue stairs.
Interesting. And we're going to be going where? Looks like basement. Okay. So bottom floor, Mira brought. No Twitch on the attack. And where did we see a Maverick? I didn't catch it.
I think there was a Maverick, yeah.
There's the Maverick. Okay,
Rise.
so they've got the tool they need there. No Kaid being brought by MIBR, not even trying to slow down the enemy on the drop downs. Fine.
I feel like a Capitao, though, being available so strong and just clearing red hallway, though.
Yeah, definitely would bring a Capitao instead of a Buck on this map. But preference, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll see how they play with it. You see that Buck kit available from MIBR as well in terms of their team skin, so...
Yeah, true.
So
I hope that should be affecting their operator selection, but true.
No, I mean, it's Team 1 that's picked the Buck anyways, but I hope they're running that skin.
We'll see. MIBR setting up a pretty standard hole downstairs.
That's Jerome just running from the bullets at this point.
We'll see if or how the takes can come out too. Good riddance. Now, MIBR. Looks like they're going for an aggressive hold on the garage. We've seen this before. I think the last time I saw this was probably like Season 2, but it's not a crazy thing to do.
Oh, and it's going to be an engagement potentially pretty quick here. Drone does spot him.
And Navi's looking for the angle. He has it. He's being very cautious here. He's been called out, and he's being called out right now as there's someone droning. But interestingly, the attackers, T1, they won't even try to push into MIBR's hold of the garage, despite having good information. It's because of the crossfire that is set up. Probably the right call from the attack. Just go do other things. You
can come back later when it might not be as covered. And that's often when we see the garage pushes is usually late round.
Yeah, when there's no one actually hard holding the garage, because all the defenders have to focus on other things. You can see the Valkyrie even right now starting to fall back.
Oh, looks like Skadinia actually could still consider pushing this.
Yeah, but the Valkyrie has retreated to the Black SUV. Still a duo hold here on the garage. They're not letting anything to chance, but there goes the Valkyrie. So actually, well, I guess I spoke too soon. Now, Team 1 know there's only one player contesting that garage, and they can push it if they want to. Meanwhile, the drop-downs have been opened up, the roamers have been isolated, Team 1 have gone and done their standard attack round elsewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to set up for this execute.
Oh, look at that. Lukid has been droned down to the bottom of main stairs, and they've determined that there's nobody actually holding this right now.
Lukid could go on a rampage.
Skadinia is going to eat some damage there, and Rise will be downed.
Wow.
So with him on the floor, he'll be finished off by the C4. Cyber adds to that as Reduct is eliminated. Cyber likely playing by the server staircase. Yes, indeed he was, using that shotgun on Ella. Cyber is on low HP, but he does his job. He holds on. And now Team 1 are really struggling in this round. They've got drop-downs open, but they've got such a man disadvantage that it might not matter. They've also still got mirror windows to contest with. And they're really struggling to get any kind of picks going here.
That's the real problem.
Here comes the drop here. Skadinia's going to get one on that drop. Bullet will refrag it, but Lukid does manage to get Hugzord at the very least. So no flawless round for the defense. Lukid looking for more. He's definitely got a decent position to work with, but he's got to be wary of a crossfire. Sees Bullet in the garage and will put a lot of damage into him, but no kill. And there you go. M-King gets luked by the beeper, and MIBR take round number 1.
That looked like a good start in terms of setup-wise for Team 1, but when it just came down to it, they stalled out and absolutely got capitalized on by MIBR, just pushing back at the right spots. It was unfortunate. But, you know, that was the first round. Team 1's still warming up a little bit here, but that also utility-wise, that was a pretty good setup in terms of what MIBR had there. But also the two-man hold really stalling them out and then punishing Skadinia a bit. That worked out pretty good.
Well, I mean, honestly, there was a lot of things that went in the favor of the defense there. One thing, Team 1 tried to attack every lane. They tried to attack garage. They tried to attack server. They tried to attack through the drop-downs, the main stairs.
Yeah.
That's every lane. Usually you pick 2 or 3, man.
Yeah.
And, well... yeah, no, that didn't work out great for Team 1. All the individual engagements went the favor of the defense, and so it was a struggle. Lost so much manpower early on in the first engagements that there was no recovery potential for Team 1. Not really.
And I feel like the idea with that was they were hoping for a pick on 1 or 2 of them and then just being able to capitalize on that and just push that lane and then also pull in the flanks. But, yeah, just losing the 1v1s on each of those lanes actually ended up just completely backfiring. We'll see how CEO goes, though. As I was saying, it could be interesting with the lack of the Thermite or the Thatcher. Means you might not even have to impact trick this. I mean, Hibana can still open things up, but that starts to get a little trickier. Just to make a hole you can get through and not have to vault requires a lot of precision on the side of those X-Kairos that rushed players often can't pull off. And even if you can, it's still not the greatest situation to try and go through. There's also a possibility of those impact denials here as Hugzord sets up for that. He has those impacts in pocket as well, so it becomes even harder to set up a hole you can get through when you have to worry about impacts on top of that, because you're going to maybe do just the lower X-Kairos first and have to work your way up from there and line those up, because if you end up with just a slight sliver of a line, you can't get through anymore.
Team 1 on that North Rappel trying to apply a lot of pressure to CEO. Now you got to be wary of the run out there when you're trying to take that. Falls is going to open up the hallway wall. This is going to give more angles to the players on West Rappel or on top of parking garage. You can cut off rotation by the main hallway.
Oh, nice try.
What a flip from Falls. Cyber goes down and Team 1 have the lead-off advantage here.
They have burned the next Cairo, though, so that means if they want to push from the square wall at some point, they really have to be precise with the next Kairos and hope they don't get impacted. But that's if they want to go for that push. It looks like we're seeing a lot of window pressure, like from those rappels. You see the IQ over here of Rise hoping for some through the window. Bullet, though, is the man to try and stop this. He's got an ADS there as well to try and help him out. Although it looks like it might have gotten burned. I don't see the red light on it. He's going to go for a Nitro Cell, and unfortunately just ends up clearing the ADS that I think was already dead.
Not a lot really done with that. Another run out this
try.
time from Navi's, and it'll work this time.
Diffuser dropped, though.
Oh no, Falls did, drop the diffuser way outside. Luckily for the attack, they have a lot of time to pick it up, but that's a good use there of that run out. Skadinia will take down M-King, who had been down, and try to pick himself up. The North Rappel working out really well for Team 1, and Bullet unable to get the refrag despite him trying. Here comes C4 from Navi's. It will miss. And he's on low HP as well, so he's got to fight against a disadvantage, and he'll be finished off by Skadinia as well on a triple kill. There's the final one. It's for Lukid, and Team 1 will take their first round on the CEO defense from MIBR.
That was looking like it was something that could have gone MIBR's way, especially after the pick on Hibana dropping the diffuser, but they just didn't play cautious enough after that point. And I mean, Bullet was trying some things on those windows. I mean, maybe had the C4 landed and killed the IQ, they would have had enough mobility to be able to hold sight down better. And then, especially if they could have rotated back the site, just having the one roamer off site wasn't really helping them at that point, especially since once he was down, they were free to collapse on Bullet at that point. But, I mean, I liked the attempted run out of the Hibana. Had that first kill on the Hibana worked, that might have slid much more in MIBR's favor towards the end of the round. And I know I say that kind of thing a lot, like if this happened, maybe that would have been different at the end. But that's the thing is there's certain kills that are impactful in the round. There's certain moments that can change and branch the way the round goes from there. That doesn't always end up being the case. You can get some extreme clutches and things like that, or just someone just crazy flicks.
And there's others that aren't as impactful.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get, that just don't really matter. But you know, it is depending on the situation, depending on the moment, right?
Yeah.
And we saw a really good round there, I think, in terms of impact from specifically the North Repel.
Yeah. I mean, I like he tried to cover throwing his camera out with the shots, but I don't think that was going to do a lot of good in that sense. I almost half expected Bullet to go for a jump out just to get rid of Rise. Like, he was so desperate to not deal with that IQ anymore. Didn't work, though.
It did not. And I think one thing that really that MIBR suffered from was the overcommitment to the run out by the garage.
Yeah, that took 2 people. Plus, it also pulled people away from the Roman defense. So we'll see. I mean, this is a good bomb site for MIBR, so I agree with trying it again, just in terms of the operator bans, the way things work out. But they've got to play this Rome a lot tighter to site.
Yeah, and certainly do need to have decent control here on your own site if you're MIBR. Again, they need to find a way to mitigate the North Repel problem. That's the main thing for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Most teams will run out by the main lobby. That was being watched by Team 1. Running out from the garage is the first step in dealing with the North Repel because you get the West Repel. But then you need to follow it up with a run out in the main lobby or just a vault out through the North Repel or the North windows. No matter what you're doing there, that problem needs to be solved for MIBR, or they need to make it so it is less of a problem by playing safer on the site. Now, some people would bring Castle to do that, but that's not been the case here for MIBR. So we'll see what new stuff Team 1 has for us, because it looks like they're actually attacking totally different, despite it being the same site. Reduct bringing the Jackal, trying to find some roamers. He's going to be partially successful. He's found one in the small office. No support here for the Jaeger, but he wins the fight against Reduct. Cyber on low HP, but he has downed the Jackal. Seems he knows it. He's expecting there to be someone to cover, so he's not getting too aggressive, not trying to take any risks, especially considering his low HP. Navi's has come over to refrag Cyber. That's good communication from Navi's. Here comes the rush from Navi's, though, and he gets 2 for his troubles. That's really good timing. He will be refragged by Lukid, but there's still the Jaeger in play here, as you can see, in open area. So you could see Cyber bring this back into his team's favor by simply persisting in open area. The roam clear, not very successful for Team 1.
And losing the Jackal's just going to continue to make that harder. They don't really have any other utility that helps with the roam, control, or clear. And Cyber could even get healed back up by M-King to make this a solid 4v3. Though it's not going to do so at the moment. And Hugs are at least holding them back as well. The main stairs push is always risky if they know you're coming and they're prepared for it. He's got 2 smokes left to hold this off for 40 seconds as well. This is going to be hard push. And I like that he's opened the hatch to give himself a retreat if he runs out of smokes. But Lukid is on top of that. He's right below that hatch just opened. He's going to cook up a grenade. He's considering. You got to throw it just right so it doesn't bounce back down on you. But he's ready. He could pull out the Scouting Key as well. But Hugs, in the meantime, actually rotates out. Now Lukid's position not as helpful, but he's going to rotate up the stairs. Falls in the meantime, taking out M-King, evening this out a little bit, as now that the Doc is dead, Cyber cannot get healed up, but 13 seconds left. Smoke slowing down Lukid. He's got to go for a solid push here. Falls finds another one. Just taking this out, but he gets taken down as well. Hugzord drops 1 in conference. It's all down to a 2v1, and there we go. Bullet and Hugzord to finish it off. A nice defense by MIBR, but now they can go back to CCTV.
That's the big thing is, they've won one of their CEO defenses that didn't look very comfortable for them the first time they were there, and we saw them really struggle. But now that they've gone a second time and they managed to win it, then you're going back to your safe site, that basement, and you're doing it in the lead already. So that is going to heavily favor MIBR. They should be able to turn that into a 3-1 pretty easily. The big thing in this round is very different than the last CEO attack from Team 1. Last time, it was a focus on the North Repel. It was a focus on the West Repel to facilitate that North Repel, denying the lobby pressure. This time, it was a roam clear focus for the attackers, for Team 1. And that roam clearing really did not work out very well. When they were pushing in, they had a lot of struggle clearing out open area, especially thanks to Bullet and Navi's, who did just a great job holding up that roam. And, Bullet started it, Navi's really finished it, and then even at the end, Bullet was still alive after the attempted clear. So following that, it was really, it was hard for Team 1 to make a recovery. So very different attacks. If I'm Team 1, next time I go to the CEO, I'm probably going to switch back to that attack I used the first time. Well, we'll see if that's the case, if we even get back to CEO.
Yeah, definitely possible here. I mean, it depends on whether or not they win these rounds here, but I mean, they looked pretty good on this site last time. Definitely possible they could hold it off again. Although, no, wait, no, did they go tellers instead?
They went to basement.
Okay, for some reason it looked like the angle was like...
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Okay, just making sure. I thought they might have switched it last second or something on me.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to tell with this map for some reason. But no, it's basement defense. Navi's going for the aggressive car prone hold. Been a while, again, been a while since I've seen this one. I saw it earlier in this match, sure, but I mean, yeah, you don't see it very often.
Well, we'll see if they can suss him out here. Navi's, though, anticipating the same drone positioning. That's the thing, is they're holding this with the 2-man again. And yet, Skadinia considering pushing it one more time. Last time, as you said, they pushed from too many different lanes at once. Yep. Didn't accomplish much. They are bringing a gridlock this time to just lock down main stairs. So hopefully that means they're going to redirect their efforts a little bit. But guess what they're going for? It looks like a vault drop. They are opening up the elevator and the teller's hatch now. They've got potential smoke coming out from the gridlock. They lock down those stairs to cut off a rotate. And they're set up for it here. They've already dropped one down, and
he's in.
It goes off.
He's going to get the lead-off kill. Lukid is there to support him. Team 1 have good control on the back of site. This rush strategy really working out for them. Skadinia also gets Navi's, but that's elsewhere. Looks like he was trying to enter in through garage, and he'll be refragged upon by Bullet. That's 2 for Bullet here, really keeping his team in the round. He's got to do more work, though. It's not over yet. He's in the perfect position to do just that. He will see one. There's his 4th. Another one on the nice transfer there. Falls the last attacker now, and Cyber denies the ace. MIBR, what a recovery on that defense. It was all but over, and then suddenly MIBR had it back in their grasp.
I mean, the vault drop was not a bad idea just because they were able to catch some people off guard, but they just, again, tried to push out the lanes. Skadinia died in garage. The Bullet pushed back hard because they didn't catch enough people off guard when they dropped that. They needed to kill, I think, quite a few more people to really make that vault drop successful or get a plant down under their nose. Inability to do that, MIBR really in the driver's seat here to try and, potentially get out of that relegation spot. I mean, I know the operator bans in some ways maybe favored a little bit on the defense, just because taking out a Thatcher and a Thermite starts to make the walls a little more important. At the same time, just Team 1's attacks, a little bit unconventional with the loss of the Thermite.
So I'll put it simple. That last attack was rushed right in through the backdrops, right?
Yeah.
That kind of attack usually doesn't work out very well.
No, it's a random wild card.
Yeah, it is. It's a rush strat. It can pay off. It usually doesn't. And that's just an example of it not. And the reason it didn't that time was very simple. They didn't account for the player inside of garage. Or I guess they did. They sent Skadinia to hunt him. Skadinia just couldn't make it happen. He actually killed one in garage that turned out to be 2. And of course that's unexpected, but they had the information because that second player killed Skadinia. So there should have been a reaction there from Team 1, and there wasn't. So, moving on. We are now on a Teller's defense. Very different site overall. And we haven't seen it just yet. Team 1 seemed to be setting up for a main lobby take. So the reason you attack main lobby if it's Tellers is because you're worried about the roamers. The thing that you can do on Tellers is really easily isolate the roamers upstairs, cut off any kind of flank with 1 or 2 players, just 1 player usually. And then you just hit the site directly. There is a roamer upstairs by reception, as you can see. I believe that's M-King. Yes, indeed. He's playing a long angle towards square, but he can do a lot here. If Skadinia doesn't find him first, it looks like Skadinia might be able to come up behind him, and he will, but oh, what a reaction! M-King! He should have lost that. I wish we could have seen that kill, but that had to have been impressive. And that kill alone is going to give a strong advantage to MIBR in this round, because not only do they maintain top 4 control, but they then slow down the top, not only the clear upstairs, but also the attack into the main lobby, which was the initial idea for Team 1, it seemed. Second attempt here, this time from a duck, but now it's being covered and expected. There's Bullet to refrag too, if this even works. Navi's gets Lukid over by square. Reduct had to have been heard in that barbed wire, but M-King hasn't reacted yet. Oh no. Reduct cautious, too cautious even. MKing gonna go to heal himself, and he'll be back to full HP. And Reduct hears this, knows the stim must be in hand, and he's gonna start his push. MKing hasn't reacted yet again. But Reduct is just... He's not going fast enough. He's losing his element of surprise. It's gone now. MKing reacting, and there's going to be the second reactionary kill for MKing, holding his own. Falls will get one meanwhile, and Navi's C4's onto Falls, leaving just Rise, who will die in elevator hallway to Bullet. MIBR. Wow. What a round for them, and they put themselves up 4-1.
Like I said, this map definitely favors them, and Team 1's attacks just don't seem to be having the punch that they need.
The question is, when we go to the second half, will MIBR have the same potency on attack?
I mean, they were definitely planning for the Thatcher ban, but were they planning for the Thermite ban is what you got to wonder, though. Because, yeah, that is something that shapes this attack, because Thermite is useful on every single site. You don't always need him, but every single site has a wall that if you open it will help things. So, yeah, if they're not prepared for that, we could see them just caught, and losing rounds on defense as well. But I don't know. I mean, they're definitely showing some prowess here on multiple sites. They've done the tour. They won CEO, CCTV, and Teller all in a row. They get to go back to CEO, which they played pretty well. And that was the only site they've lost so far. So there is a chance Team 1 could get them again on this round. But I feel like they made, kind of shored up their mistakes that second time around. And if they don't make those again and Team 1 don't find some other better way to play this, I don't know, it could work out here for MIBR to go to this. I mean, going into the second half 5-1 when you're trying to fight against relegations, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, especially after you have the opportunity now because of the result of INTZ last match.
Well, last defense, first round, CEO here for the defense. And it's a perfect cycle, so MIBR has to go back to where they started that cycle, was on the top floor. See if they're going to be able to turn this into a 5-1. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised based on what we're seeing right now. Lots of great reactions from MIBR. MKing had a really good round in the previous one. Those 2 kills he managed, super important on the outcome. If he had been picked off in the first kill there, I think we probably would have seen the attack win it outright, because then in that situation, Team 1 are getting top 4 control. They've got manpower advantage. They've got plenty of time. They're going to open above the site. Should be over, right? But MKing held his ground against 2 people.
Yeah.
So really props to him. Now, moving on from that, CEO site is very different, of course, likely to be attacked differently. There's even more focus being placed on the main lobby, though, this time, even though it didn't work out last time.
Yeah. I mean, the stairs pushes, like I said, could be really risky, but it's just like, it seems like Thermite being gone, they just don't want to bother with Square.
Maybe that's it. I mean, you can still open Square.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You can Maverick trick it. Habana works. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's just a difference of opinion. They're going to stick to what they want.
Well, probably work out better if it actually worked last time, but
we'll see if it works this time.
Cyber's play could definitely make a big difference here, because if he's able to push back this lobby, that could burn a lot of time.
It doesn't look like they're watching Tellers right now, and Bullet and Cyber are both here. So if they come out at the same time, depending on when that is, they could work a lot here into this round, affecting the outcome. Rise and Skidini get 1 each.
Ooh, that's not good.
That's Bullet, and there's a third. Team 1 are looking great for this round as they get all of the roamers within 3 seconds of each other. Just Navi's and MKing left. MKing is downed and finished off there before he can get back on his feet. Navi's the last defender. Not going to be a perfect round as he gets 1, but it's coming pretty close. He's looking for a second. He will get that, and a third maybe? Nice try there as he almost picks off 1 on the main lobby staircase. He'll push in expecting someone to be there, but he's actually already up, catches the tail end of him, and he starts his push over towards reception. Ooh, bad timing on the angles there from Navi's. He almost managed that. Skidini will finish it off, though, and there you go. Team 1 managing to salvage a second attack round, so it's not all over yet. Not a 5-1. Not total defeat there, but Team 1 are definitely in a tricky spot. Luckily for Team 1, they get to go to defense on Bank now, so that is a slight advantage.
Yeah, well, at least it's definitely looked that way from MIBR's play.
Yeah, that's the big question is now, does MIBR have what it takes to win an attack on this site? Or, well, no, not on this site, on this map.
Yeah.
Because we've totally seen teams transition to the second half Now they have to attack things, and they go limp, or the reverse. We saw that in the previous match, actually.
Yeah.
Where it was a complete reversal of roles, and we saw the... as much as there was a good fight put up by Ince on the first half where they were winning on their attacks, they actually got a 4-2 in the first half. Suddenly Liquid gets to attack, and it's just perfect half for Liquid. They don't drop a single round. They don't even look like they're going to drop a single round.
Yeah.
Liquid wins at 7-4, so... Yeah, we've seen upsets in these situations before.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that 5 rounds in a row from Liquid showed that the side switches can really make a difference. But, I mean, such a decent lead, though, at a 4-2 from MIBR. But the big thing, of course, is that they can't just tie on it. So if it goes the exact same way on the other side, that's enough for MIBR to stay in relegation spot. So that's the important thing, is you cannot allow a mirror here. MIBR need to win one more round than Team 1 was able to make sure that they go out ahead. And, of course, the timing of that win even matters.
Now, just the tail end of the setup here for Team 1. Just trying to make sure they're nice and comfortable. As you can see, they're going for a pure and simple anchor strategy. No roamers just yet. That could still change, but is unlikely to. Looks like a server hold. Don't know if you can really... again, that doesn't necessarily count as roaming. More like playing just near the site. Jaeger with all 3 ADSs down because Thatcher is banned. Don't have to worry about that. Shotgun M870.
Ooh.
This is a very potent shotgun, but you got to hit that first blast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like this super wide spread. You've got to be very close range to get that off. But that's what that play is all about right there, is playing that close range. So if he swings out wide and tries to fire on someone that's a bit too far from the door, that could be the thing that ends up costing him. But the range did get a little bit of buff a while ago. So it is a little more formidable than it used to be at range.
It's just the spread is so wide.
Yeah.
It's got one of the wider spreads out of shotguns.
The Mozzie doing a great job with the pest here. Oh, nope, he didn't catch it. So that might have just been an ADS that got taken out.
Got something, that's for sure.
Nope.
Navi's doing his best with the Twitch drone, but the pest is really helping out here. He's going to go for the push with the F2.
Oh, this is risky.
He's probably got the best gun for it, but the shotgun will still have the favor. M-King does try and spray in there. Navi sees his opponent, cannot land the shot.
Good backup from Falls.
Yeah, gas canisters to slow down this push. Lucas still managing to delay for a significant amount of time. Twitch drone coming in here. Oh, but he gets the pest as well, though.
Oh.
He destroyed the pest with the Twitch drone, which means now droning is possible.
Oh.
Lucas sees the firebolt. He's careful of it, but he could still hold this. Oh, that's a large distance for this shotgun to work. He's being droned out simultaneously. Drones work in the fire. He will get that, but he also gets the Twitch. Navi's on the floor, and Capitao does not eat any damage from that blast. Second firebolt does a lot to Lucas, forcing him to fall back, and now suddenly the server hold looks really dangerous. There's only 40 seconds left. These defenders could have fallen back, but now the drop's open. Falls also gets M-King, though, and Falls getting aggressive will get a second.
Oh, wow.
What a hold on this staircase. Just Cyber and Bullet in a 2 versus 5.
The beauty of that was that Falls has a shotgun also, and all he needed to do was take the shift from Lucid. Like, It's my turn now. I've used my smoke canisters. I can just shotgun.
Your first player is fatigued. He's taken a lot of damage, and he can fall back. Skadinia on the heel, too, if it comes to that. Cyber going to be spraying down the staircase. He will eventually clear this out, so 2 for Cyber. Good for him, but will it matter? Answer, no. He doesn't have enough time to get all the remaining kills, and he'll die to the C4 from Reduct. Team 1... well, okay, their first defense goes well.
Yeah.
Can they keep that going?
You know, honestly, that was a combination of the efforts of 3 players.
Just 3, yeah.
That was the Jaeger, the Smoke, and the Mozzie.
Mm-hmm.
All their efforts combined. No, I'm sorry, 4, because you got to include the Jaeger's ADSs as well.
That's fair. Well, the Jaeger that's still 3.
That's true, because he was one of those. I was thinking of Bandit for some reason with the animated, but yeah, you're right, that's still just 3, but still, great teamwork holding that off, just slaughtering them on the entry. I mean, eventually they felt it would have been probably better for the Doc to come around and heal so that he wouldn't have been at such a low health, but I don't know if that would have mattered that much in the engagement he was in. Nonetheless, though, a great defense there from Team 1, showing they can defend just as well. So interestingly enough, we're going to switch over to CEO rather than try again. Well, I guess, no, I'm sorry, they can't try again. It was a defensive win. Sorry, brain scrambling there. That was crazy. seeing that shotgun play. The Capitale did play it pretty well, though. Getting the fire lower was a smart play, just like continuing to inch it down the stairs. And it did do a lot of damage to the Jaeger, but I mean, if it had turned into a kill, maybe that would have been a different story. We'll see how they do on CEO, though. This was also a decent site for MIBR, though this is the one of well, literally the only site they lost, because they lost it both times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they won it once. MIBR won it a single time.
Not both times. I mean, both losses were CEO.
Both of the losses to CEO. They lost it 2 of the 3 times. We'll see if MIBR can win the attacks here. Hugzord and Reduct having a really bad match, as you can see, but that just means they have yet to actually show up. When they do, could really change what's going on here. You know, when you've got one of those players like dropping a single kill, 2 kills, you know, like none.
Yeah.
When you've got that going on for a long time, it just means, like, it doesn't mean they're bad. It means that when they actually start getting the kills, when they find themselves in positions to do that, then it'll start to landslide for your team. And that's happened a lot. But also, you know, sometimes you're just having a bad day, and they don't actually wake up in the match.
Well, MIBR, really the ones with something at stake here. Not too much at stake for Team 1, so definitely on MIBR to try and make this happen. They are bringing a Lion, interestingly enough, along with the Jackal to try and find him with the pings, lock him down with the Lion, and try and do some work from there. They also have the IQ that we saw being brought from Team 1 for this attack. It is going to help to be able to spot ADSs and other devices inside the site to be able to get some idea what you need to clear on your approach. Is they're not playing with a Thatcher, so they can't, you know, they're being banned and all. Navi's, though, on that F2, nice long angle, but he makes it work onto Rise, and that's Castle down. Not a big loss. Hopefully he wasn't trying to castle barricade something and got shot. That would be tragic.
We were talking about how MIBR could have benefited from a castle on the site, and well, I mean, Team 1 brought it, but he's gone early. Castle barricades are placed, and Lukid is going to get Cyber there from the main lobby, because the main lobby cover is pretty bad from the attackers. MIBR should not have let the defense get away with that run out. He should have been punished by Bullet, but now Bullet's too late to the party as he just enters to ATMs. And they're expecting him to peek. Look at this.
Yeah.
Double ACOG challenge on that ATM's door.
A lot of long angles being fought overall, whether it be the repellers here fighting them or it be the defenders playing with those ACOGs on the Rook-Doc combo.
The breach opened by Square. Hugzord's got a good angle here now. He can enter into the site and go for the plant. Mostly going to come down to how much information MMBR can gather on the remaining defenders. EE1D goes out to try and make those defenders stationary for a second. At least stand still, but nothing comes of it. Skadinia will get Navis, and Reduct also Hugzord. So a lot of contribution here across the board from Team 1. The defense is looking super solid. Just Bullet and M-King left for the side of MIBR. Bullet wary of the main lobby presence. There is somebody in there. It's been called out by somebody on one of the drones. Here comes the challenge. Ooh, this is a very tight angle. Hard to hit that through the bars on this distance, but Bullet will. Impressive shot. Now with Lukid gone, he could focus on his North Repel. EE1D comes in but doesn't get anything. Bullet will get a second though. Suddenly it's a 1 versus 2. The only problem is he has to repel in with 15 seconds left. It doesn't look likely. Coming from his right, he sees Skadinia's tracers, but falls to his left. So there's a nice sandwich here for the defense. Backpack spotted, but it's not a hitbox, and Bullet can't land all the shots onto Skadinia. And Team 1 take the round off of that.
Well, now they bring that up to a tie, and this is definitely not a good situation here. So far, looking like we are potentially seeing that mirror match. Defense just doing much better. These attacks, again, just all funneling through areas that are not favorable most of the time. Although the ability to fight the long angles definitely worked out on Team 1's defense as well, just trying to counter how many different angles that MIBR were trying to play, and losing too many of those, unfortunately costing them in the end. It was an unfortunate situation for the Lion in that he just didn't have any EE1Ds left to help out with that, and trying to go for the plant probably wouldn't have worked out. So it just was not a favorable fight. He had to go for the frags against 2, and one of them could have easily been hidden to make sure that that didn't happen, so just was not a whole lot to be able to do much about it. But, ooh, Rise drops, so we might have to go for a remake as it's just the beginning of the round here.
Yes, it's prep phase. Usually that would call for a rehost, so we'll wait for the admins to make that call, and then once they make that call, we will go for it.
All right, looks like we will be going for the rehost potential here. And so I I mean, that'll be a little break, though, for MIBR to think about what they're doing. Now, again, it was Team 1's ban of the Thermite that really shook up these attacks, right? Team 1 didn't seem to know how to cope with it very well, so it was probably not the best idea for them. But it is helping them out here now on their defense.
Yep. The defensive side for Team 1 has looked really solid. It was the case that Team 1 only managed to get 2 attacks, but honestly, I don't think that's really going to matter for them in the long run. I imagine that T1 are going to be able to keep this ball rolling based on what we've been seeing. MIBR have been getting a lot of picks, but they haven't been able to make their site takes really work for them, mostly because it looks like it mostly comes down to me for a lack of focus on the actual site take itself. So, like, okay, we'll get a couple picks here and there, but then where are we attacking from?
Yeah, you see how spread out they were even on the last
What
attack.
are they trying to do?
Yeah.
I'm really not sure what their overall goal is. And they seem decisive in that they got the wall open by Square, but not much else really happened. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see some serious progress made on the attacks there for MIBR if they want to keep their lead, or actually they can keep their lead. We're on even round count now at 4-4. So if they want to regain their lead, I suppose it's been a struggle for MIBR in the second half.
The funny part is this is like the opposite of what we saw on Coastline, where it was all attack sided. Now it's all defense sided.
Yeah.
And some of that, I think, does come down to the operator bans in both those situations where it favored either attack or defense, but also the maps and things like that. And it's MIBR really going to have to use this break. They have that mental coach, from what we understand. Obviously, it's possible we're just misinformed, but this is the time for him to step in. Be like, guys.
Oh, it's a great opportunity.
Just
yeah.
focus.
We're in the middle of a rehost. You just take a second to breathe and focus on what's necessary. MIBR, partially comes down to, they're losing their engagements, but mostly for me, it just comes down to their strategy being really poor.
Yeah.
They're trying to attack from too much at once. Their cover is really bad. In that last round, for example, on the CEO defense, we saw Team 1 manage to get a free pick on the player on North Repel because nobody was covering from ATM's door for the attacking side.
Yeah.
And granted, there was a double retake of the main lobby from the defense, so okay, maybe that ATM's challenge wouldn't have worked out for the attack. So Repel on West Window. I mean, you've got a lot of options there to deny that. You shouldn't be losing anyone to the main lobby run out for the attack. That should just be covered before you even have someone on North Repel.
I mean, usually for this attack, you have just the checklist of hold down lobby, repel, and take square, and then control janitor from there. That usually leads to a pretty successful attack, especially if you can control conference as well on top of that. That just boxes them all into all the angles from the windows, stuff like that, and you can start using utility to help to execute. That's what we see generally work. Obviously, there's ways to counter tricking.
Right, there's layers to it, but you have to participate in the
that kind of onion going to be able to push that, and we're just seeing
structure.
Person here, person there, trying to take fights, 1v1.
I guess they figure if they just scatter it enough, that it'll work out somewhere, somehow, but that's not strategy, that's just fingers crossed.
That's really mostly working out for the defense.
Yeah, well, it'll always work out for the defense because, there's always automatic structure that comes into play for the defensive side because they're the defenders.
Yeah.
They're on defense. They get to just wait you out. So, again, that really reinforces the structure of your team and your strategy. It's a lot easier to make that happen without actually having to actively try to be smart about your positioning and all that. But on the attacking side, you do have to be cognizant of where you put your players. You do have to be, cautious of where the defenders are as well. You have to push as a team, go for refrags, position yourself accordingly. It just doesn't... But we're not really seeing that from MIBR. So they have to change that.
Yep,
now have any hope
to do it. I mean,
we have opportunity.
We have all the information back in the lobby, so we're just waiting one player to get back in. So hopefully they'll be ready to just... bang out the last of these rounds here, but MIBR need to come in change. They need to come in coordinated and focused. Do the droning, make the IGL calls, and focus on your strategy, not just take engagements as they randomly come to you.
Well, we'll see if they're capable of doing that when we actually get back into the match. There's only 4 possible rounds left here, and so far it's been a really even one. I mean, I could even see a draw happening. Unfortunately for MIBR and their fans, if this is a draw, then there will be, MIBR will still be in relegations. So no matter what, they need that win. They're going to have to push for that.
Yeah. I mean, Team 1, as I said, they don't have as much at stake here, so it's not as important, but at the same time, they clearly want to play this. I know we keep kind of highlighting the stakes and things like that, because it does influence the motivation, but it also is in different ways. You know, there's not as much pressure as well on Team 1, so they can also play looser. Like,
Yep.
it's pros and cons to the context of the situation they find themselves in, as well as for MIBR, where there's a lot of pressure on them. Because, I mean, yes, they might just win their relegations match and it's not a big deal, but you never want to be there. I mean, and thankfully for them, you know, there's no kind of auto relegations to have to worry about. That would really, of course, affect Elevate more so. But
auto relegations was, I think, really bad when we had it, and it caused a lot of problems, and it's gone now.
yeah, it was an interesting idea, and there was definitely some reasons behind it, but it clearly didn't work as intended. So we pivot and move forward. MIBR need to do exactly that.
We'll see if they're capable of it as we move forward in this match, but we're not exactly there yet, as we're just waiting for one more person on Team 1 to connect to the match. This is usually what happens with rehosts. It often takes about the same time as a lead-in to a match, and these lead-ins tend to take around 10-15 minutes, so we just got to give them some time.
Of course, the longer into the match it is, the more data has to be put back in. But it seems like a lot of times the players reconnecting
is the problem.
Yeah,
because it looked like somebody maybe crashed there. It looks like they haven't been able to get their game to launch again or something.
Yeah, it was Rise who dropped out, and he's the one we're still waiting for. So
bingo.
It definitely could have been a crash and a need for a full reboot.
Yeah,
which takes variable amounts of time. Plus, you've got to start everything up again.
Depends on your computer, layers to it. You know, internet connection, all these different variables. So we'll just wait and see when he gets back in. Of course, I mean, I don't think we've seen a disqualification on time in a good while.
We've gotten so close. We got down to 5 seconds the other day.
Really? What was
5 seconds.
It was North America?
I think it might have been EU.
Because I cast it, it was the other day, I cast the EU, you weren't there.
Maybe it was North America then. I'm just trying to remember which one it was, but it was down to like
NA with Valerie, so
the last 5 seconds. It wasn't when I was casting either.
Oh, okay, it wasn't? Okay, well, in that case, I'm not sure. Oh, it was EU. I remember what you're talking about. It was G2 versus Penta.
That's what it was.
And
Penta, it was Hungary.
Hungary had trouble connecting. We came down to the last about 5 seconds before Hungary could manage to connect, and he made it in. But it was a rough match for Penta anyway. G2 managed it.
It's always in more ways than one, literally down to the wire.
But yeah, that resulted in Penta being guaranteed to have to fight out of relegations. Anyway, here and now, it's not MIBR who are having trouble connecting. It's Team 1. So we'll wait again until Rise gets back, and if he doesn't, then we'll see. Again, I don't anticipate a disqualification on time. We've hit the window before within the rules before, and just kind of gone past it.
It's more just usually the case when it's like they're definitely never going to connect. Internet's down or whatever.
Yeah, usually that only happens. Yeah, it's always admin call in the end. Usually it's admin call in the end. So really comes up to them. But I've only seen really hard disqualifications happen when either it's a ridiculously abundant amount of time that has been spent waiting, or it's just like Devin said, that you just can't connect. You aren't going to be able to make it. Oh no.
There are times when it's just quirky. Sometimes getting the starting of things back again.
You got to finagle it, and eventually you get it just right and you get back in.
It's weird, yeah. It's like obviously you got it to work the first place, but who knows? Maybe it took a while to even get into the lobby the very first time. We just only saw the tail result of that, but hopefully it wasn't too bad of a crash and no damage done somehow. But obviously it is unfortunate for Team 1 to lose that momentum like that, though. But thankfully it was at the beginning of the round where rehost was possible and not mid-round, where it could have costed them a round. So that definitely is a better situation.
It wasn't an expensive rehost there. I mean, it was in the prep phase, so done. We'll move on 4-4. Whatever.
Yeah.
I believe it was Teller's defense, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see the...
Because we've seen Basement and CEO defended successfully by Team 1 now, so they have to go to a third, and it was an open area as far as I can remember. So we know what the site is, which is going to give some time for MIBR to plan, but MIBR would have known what the site is anyway, because they haven't been able to win an attack yet, so...
They could still plan, try and think about what they could do different on their attack. Or just like, hey, I've noticed this, or anything they've picked up during their match so far.
I just want to see MIBR focus up on one thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
just clear top floor and then hit the site, or go in through main lobby and hit the site directly.
Yeah.
I don't really care what it is that MIBR does it, how they do it.
Focus.
But just put a concerted effort into one thing in particular instead of trying to spread yourselves thin on one of the biggest maps in this game to try and cover everything.
It's funny that both T1 and MIBR did the same thing in that regard.
On attack?
Yeah, they're both just like...
We can cover all the places just barely, but it just means that we won't have anybody, you know, stacked up on each other.
We have to win all of our 1v1s and not get traded.
And there's very little coverage for people on angles they're not watching, like the North Rappel main lobby situation. So we'll see what MIBR can correct, of course.
We're just waiting to find out what the deal is, whether or not we're going to have to wait a bit longer or if he's almost connecting. Not entirely sure, but a lot of times it's
been about, what, 14 minutes now? Something like that?
Probably, yeah.
Because the lobby's at 20. That means it's been 10 in the lobby, probably 4 minutes outside.
Yeah.
Or give or take a little.
To recreate the lobby.
Yeah, takes a while. So we're going to go to a quick break, actually, while we wait to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
See you in a bit. And we're back, and we've got everybody ready, so we'll get started as soon as we get started, whenever that is.
Whenever they press S.
The begin button. Well, we've got everybody in the lobby. We've got everything prepared, so we should be able to just jump right in and get this match underway, finally get to the conclusion of Team 1 versus MIBR.
Yeah, this is obviously important because this is the one match that really decides something today in terms of movement.
Yep. Well, no.
Well, no, the one match left is to do. Oh, that's right. That's right. The phase
NIP
that can still change seeding. So.
Yeah, FaZe can take first place away from NIP if FaZe wins in that head-to-head.
Yeah.
Because currently FaZe and NIP are even based on their last match. They've got 6-6. They drew it. So because FaZe and NIP are playing at the end of the season, whoever wins that takes first, essentially.
Yeah.
Or if NIP managed to draw it, then NIP takes first.
Yeah. So possibilities there. Obviously, that could affect who they face in the brackets and things like that.
Yep.
But that's still somewhat out of their control. Even though they can choose, kind of get in the seed they want, doesn't necessarily determine who they fight against, and they don't have a whole lot of choice in that. There's not really much they can do. But it looks like it's just taking them a second to get started here. They might have been in the middle of a bathroom break while they're waiting, since they didn't know how long it would take for Rise to get in.
So unsure.
Hopefully we'll get going here soon.
We wait.
Unfortunately, a lot of their chatter is also in Portuguese, so
we have no idea what's going on.
All I saw was Que Momento. So that's all I saw.
And we've been seeing a lot of just conversation going on.
Yeah.
So
we're getting a ready from MIBR, I think.
So maybe we're gonna get a ready from Team 1, and we can actually start.
And I think that's a ready from
Come on.
Team 1.
Yeah, they
just gotta wait for them to press that, and of course there'll be a slight delay as well once we start the match, just to make sure everything's okay before we go into the full screen view.
We're just kind of
there we go. All right,
starting.
Hit S.
Yay.
Step 1 complete. Step 2, making sure everything's okay, and then getting ready to finish this out. I can imagine these guys are of course excited to do this, as depending on the results from IBR, this could be the last match they have to play for a while, so get a break.
Depending.
Yeah.
We'll see once we actually get in if the settings are correct. If they are, we will transition over to the game.
You are correct. It is Tellers.
If they aren't correct, then we'll come back to us and we'll do another rehost. It looks like everything's fine though.
Let's not do that.
So it looks like we'll be continuing on. Huzzah!
Huzzah, indeed.
And we will be on Tellers. Should be the same everything as last time we were here, and MIBR attacking Team 1. Defending Team 1 have yet to drop a defensive round. They are looking very strong on this second half.
Well, maybe Tellers will be the site that changes things for them.
Maybe.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defended.
But, I don't know. Now, based on what we've been seeing from Team 1, they've been looking really, really strong.
At least this is the third bomb site, though. So this is, the opportunities there. This is, in theory, the weaker one for Team 1.
In theory, but I would say that Tellers is a pretty good site. I mean, I know teams that actually prefer Tellers to CEO. But, well, let's see what actually happens. Put the theory crafting aside. Looks like it's going to be a heavy roam upstairs from Team 1. They're putting a lot of reinforcements up here, a lot of utility in all likelihood. Going to put some mute cameras, maybe some ADSs here, maybe even a bulletproof if Skadinia's brought it.
Yeah, the upside of this site is you don't necessarily need the thermite as much as you did for the other sites. So they can work with just the Hibana pretty successfully, depending on their attack strategy. So hopefully they're not all over the place again. And M King with a nice freebie onto Reduct. Maybe he was throwing out a camera.
He's giving it away, Devin.
Yeah, I hope he got his camera out first.
It's free.
It's turning into free real estate if they could turn that into a bit of map control, but Rise actually waiting for this here.
Did you say free?
I believe I said free. It's free real estate. Free real estate.
Missy Parker.
Yeah, that was for you.
Team 1 doing their best here, a man down. But MIBR in a strong position. Now, Navi's is taking a risk here with this push. He sees the Legion trap, knows there's a Legion in kitchen. Here comes the... Oh, the timing could be impeccable here from the Twitch if he plays it right.
There we go.
But he gives himself away. Oh, what an angle to play.
Just the...
Who's going to peek it and when? Rise position given away, spotted out by the drone, and here comes Navi's, missing all of his shots. Pistol out, and he trades himself on the down, so he will likely be finished off by one of the other defenders. That was hard to watch, not gonna lie.
Yeah, the pillars made that pillar right there just literally made that it's just totally unfavored to Navi's. Great dodging around it by Rise, though.
Good job to Rise for at least managing to take him, take the Twitch with him. Meanwhile, in the site, Cyber's got control, and he'll win the fight against Falls, cutting off the rotation to open area, where 2 defenders are. Actually, correction, 1 is just Skadinja over here now. Lukid by the main lobby takes down Bullet. Now Skadinja in open area is finished off by MKing, leaving just Lukid, who is rotated back to site. Thing is, though, he can't get into Archives in any other way other than this doorway right in front of him. He's being watched. And it's Cyber there in Archives, doing a great job of inflicting damage and getting the kill. MIBR right back into this match will win the first round of their attacking side.
Well, we don't know whether it was the break that helped them or the site itself, but that's a good change of pace for them because they retake the lead, as you put it. It's a pretty good place to be. I mean, you really need the lead, obviously. When a tie especially won't cut it, you need to do more than just kind of go tit for tat. They need to win this site as well. CCTV, just don't be as chaotic on it as Team 1 was. And it's doable. I mean, it's still doable to even push the normal way. Reduck teasing the clash there for the stairs. MKing seeing that and switching over to the Zofia. But it's actually going to be the Kaid instead, who is going to make those hatches a little more of a problem potentially. The Mozzie as well, we saw how useful he was in helping with the server stairs. And they again have the smoke of the Jaeger. Got to imagine they're very likely to play a similar strategy for that.
Yeah, I mean, you would imagine, but we've seen examples of teams winning a site, then changing the strategy, then losing that same site.
Yeah.
Things are. I mean, things can be pretty crazy sometimes. We can change unnecessarily, or just try to change to keep their opponent on their toes and then lose it regardless. So, I don't know. We'll find out. Now, going into the basement once more, Team 1 did really well down here. One thing that's interesting is that they've decided not to bring a Mira, which, when you're on the basement of Bank, there's very rarely a situation where you say to yourself, you know what, we don't need a Mira here. Or we don't want a Mira here. Because even if you don't feel that it's necessary, Mira is stupidly powerful on the bottom floor of Bank. Stupidly so. So, yes, silly powerful here. It's one of her best sites in the game, to be honest. And yeah, you just, why not bring her? Is the really thing that pops into my head. I get there, you've got other things in mind, but still. All right, well.
I like that he's at least trying to trick this.
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's only certain places you can do that.
Yeah, this is one of them. You can pick up that Electric Claw as the EMP gets thrown and then save it.
Well, there's no Thatcher anyway, so you don't really need to trick it except for if you're worrying about the Maverick.
Why is he even tricking it then?
I mean, if he's thinking the Maverick might like try and find it, I guess. Because they have an IQ.
I saw the, well, you can put it on the wall where he can't hit it.
I know.
It's possible. I saw him trying to trick, and I'm thinking to myself, there's no reason for him to do that now. But I was like, oh yeah, he's worried about the Thatcher EMP. There's no Thatcher, so.
I don't know. It seems like the bans have really just messed these guys up. And the Thatcher ban was from MIBR, so that might just be Team 1 playing their default strategy.
Maybe he's wary of the Twitch drone.
That is also a factor, potentially. One
has been destroyed. We saw it destroyed in the prep phase. So here comes the second.
The Mozzie, though.
The pass is going to be really tricky here. He's looking for it, and he got it. Wow, nice shot from Navis. He's going for the ADSs next.
Very impressive here.
It's one. The shield is assisting him here. That one had already been cleared out, but he gets it anyway. Almost gets a smoke gas canister, but not quite.
Still, really good work from Navi. He's doing a lot with that Twitch drone and getting around a pest like that.
Yeah, the ADS is cleared. There might be another one, but he did a good job there. Shield now can be destroyed by the lifeline.
Oh, the Electric Claw.
And yeah, the Electric Claw also taken out there by the Maverick. It's good drone work. They made a little hole and they shot at it, looked like. And MIBR have managed to open up the drop down now, leaving Lukid really exposed on this staircase. He's getting hit by the lifeline, but where's the push? Gas canister just slows down what could have been a push into the staircase. It was in fact not. Bullet gonna open up the drop downs into the site. This will give him good control over the top of the site itself. No rotation, maybe a vault hole there. Lukid gets the lead-off kill. There goes Navi's.
This so rarely works, pushing into a shotgun. I don't know why people don't just...
I'm not sure what MKing's doing there either. Oh, and yeah, no, the drop actually hasn't been opened up. That was an entirely different drop, as it turns out. This one's just got a small hole in it, as it seems. And looks like they're falling back. Yeah, they're not even going to try and clear out Luke. They just spent the entire round. Look, there's 15 seconds left, guys. They spent the entire round trying to clear out the staircase, and now they're going somewhere else. Let's see if they can make that work. Cyber into the site will get one. Skidinia does take down Bullet, though, on the initial entry. Falls onto MKing as well. MIBR are planting, and they've got cover. This is actually looking really good, but there's the stop from Skidinia. The little plant on the floor means MIBR, with no time left, cannot win the round. Team 1. Bring us back to even, 5-5.
Well, they cannot afford now to lose this next round. MIBR, this round is the game for them right now.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, if they win this round, they still have to win one more, I guess. So technically, the next 2 rounds are the game for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they lose this next round, then that's it. They don't have a chance at moving up. CEO, though, doable. It's attackable. It is the site that was lost both times by MIBR in the defense. So we know... Technically, it's the most attackable site, although, interestingly, the Tellers was the site that was won by MIBR on their attack. So, I don't know.
Well, with that, CEO, now,
Defenders, protect your
the
bombs.
last time we were here, we saw a very spread out MIBR, an exceptionally spread out MIBR. It was honestly kind of weird. And because of how far apart they were, they had very little, I would say very little chance of actually getting anything out of the way they were playing. They lost all their heads-up gunfights, right? And well, if they won all of them, you'd be saying, oh, wow, look at that, that's amazing. No, honestly, the way that they were playing, I would have been saying the same thing. Yeah, great, good job to them, they managed it, but they really shouldn't have been able to. That falls on the other side in that case. But it hasn't seen success so far for MIBR. The way that they've been attacking is just very odd. That last round, they set themselves to a task, and they couldn't complete it as well. I'm not sure what they were thinking. Maybe they were a little bit afraid of losing by throwing too much manpower away, pushing the staircase. But I don't know. There's a lot of layers to what's going on here for MIBR, what's going wrong for MIBR. But the simple truth is, on this attacking side, MIBR are seriously struggling.
Yeah. I mean, this clash as well could make this hard for them. If they're already scattered as it is, and the Lion's not really going to do anything for them to really help with the clash, and since they do not have the Zofia this time, or a Captau, they don't have any specific utility to deal with that shield. So that can really become problematic. I mean, you can't exactly freeze Clash in place with Lion because it doesn't matter. You don't care about getting spotted. So it's going to come down to probably if someone catches him off guard. Or it could just be a situation like we often see where Rise is the last person left alive on defense because he's able to guard against everything, but, you know, cannot stop his teammates from dying. First, the E1D goes off and does find someone in janitor closet. Navi's, though, looking to try and do something with that information.
We've talked about this before, though. Those EE1Ds are not as potent as they used to be. They're less likely to get direct kills. And, yeah, well, we're not going to see anything follow up from the EE1D mark. So that is worth keeping in mind. Rise on the Clash is going to be doing a good job of delay work here. Falls as well. I mean, Team 1 are well set up, but at least to MIBR's credit, they have some kind of platform to attack this. They're in the building, they've got some control going, and they are going to get the first kill, despite it being taken back immediately by Lukin and added to by Reduct. This is not the end of the world for the attack. That might be the end of the world.
Yeah.
Navi's losing that fight to Skidinia. It's a little bit hard to see, but it happens. And Cyber also on North Repel has to contest main lobby, which is very dangerous. No matter how you look at it, it seems like it's going to be match point for Team 1. The Clash is going to be a really big factor here. When you have a man disadvantage, the Clash becomes more potent. When it's a 2-man disadvantage and you're losing the round on time as well, the Clash is almost the most valuable operator here. MIBR will get 1, that's thanks to MKing, but Reduct has finished off Cyber, leaving just MKing alone and scared. With 50 HP. Rushes up and finished off by Reduct. Team 1 take another defense on the top floor, and they take match point, which means
they've essentially relegated or put in relegations.
MIBR. GG to MIBR. They cannot get out of relegation spot, and that's it for their season. They will have to fight against the Challenger League teams in Latin America in order to retain their position. And that effectively is the match done. we will see one more round played, but it is not going to change much. Oh, it will be the difference between Team 1 taking 3rd and finishing 4th to end the season, but that doesn't matter for anything. So,
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, this last round now doesn't really have a lot of impact. It doesn't hurt to get an extra point if you're MIBR just to have it,
Why not?
but it doesn't do anything for you right now.
Yeah, it's not going to get you out of relegations. That's all that really matters.
Yeah. So I gotta imagine MIBR might even just kind of just play this however they want to play it at this point. Win or loss isn't going to affect them, but I imagine they probably want to win the round still.
I would imagine that as well. We'll see. What we do know is that, I mean, there's not a lot left to really know about this match. That last round was effectively it. That was what everyone was playing for, fighting for, and I suppose we could say good job to Team 1 for forcing MIBR into the relegations position.
It's too bad that the last bomb site for the match isn't CO instead of Tellers, like if that was reversed, because Tellers was the one site they won on attack, so that might have been more doable.
Yeah, maybe.
But either way, it wouldn't have mattered. They still would have had to win the round after it to win, so I guess that wouldn't have made that much of a difference.
Well, what we do know is that MIBR has 2 minutes 40 seconds to get 1 point out of this. I wonder if they can make it happen. We'll see as we play this out. Teller's defense has been good to MIBR on attack in the past. They've won it the only time it's been played by Team 1. But, again, does it really matter? No. Going to be some North presence here from Bullet. He's looking to get control of CEO. That is a task in of itself. Usually takes a long time for the attackers to manage. That's a nice shotgun reaction there from Falls. M-King going to hit the floor. Now, MIBR on a man disadvantage. They've still got 2 minutes to recover things. Looks like we're going to be losing some frames, but not the entire match, so that's fine. At least we'll keep going.
Yeah. Poor M-King, though. What's with the early deaths on Jackals? They could just, I don't know, they stick their head too far into the map.
Yeah. I'm surprised that MIBR hasn't gone for a rush strategy, considering this,
right?
the lack of...
Just get the last round over with for them.
Considering that, maybe it'll be a glorious end. That'll be another kill there. Hugzord gone. Now MIBR, 2-man disadvantage. And it looks like it's just going to get worse and worse, as they haven't really shown us anything suggesting that they are actually going to be pinching on any of these players. Again, MIBR with their typical very spread out strategy. They'll at least get one out of it. No second, though, as Lukic shuts down Navi's. Now it's just Cyber and Bullet. Again, one thing I want you all to focus on is the fact that every time we transition from one attacker to another, they are in a completely different part of the map. That is the thing that I want you to take away from this, and not only in this round, but in pretty much every MIBR attack so far. Cyber not able to get any shots onto his opponent there, despite seeing 2 of them. Bullet coming up from behind. He has had an opportunity, but it has slipped away. There is actually another who might be going for the rotation. Oh, and there from above. What? Oh,
what?
That's just embarrassing.
Yeah, you're gonna be looking at that clip smacking your head for the rest of the time till relegations.
Yep. That's now. Okay, I'm just gonna drop it there. Team 1 take a win, 7-5. Congratulations to them, and that's gonna put them in 3rd to finish this season at a whopping 26 points, 8 wins.